many of you are interested in making the most of your investments? Yeah, pretty much all of you, that's right. And how many of you heard the speech that I gave a couple of weeks ago on investing in comics? A good portion of you. Well, to recap, one of the things that I talked about was when you find that $1 million comic, or at least a comic that's worth a couple of $100s, you can ensure its value if it's in great shape. I'm here today to talk to you about how you can capitalize on your investment by using a bag, a board, and a box. I want to help you to keep your comic books looking pristine like this, beautiful shape, and not like this. This one falling apart, creased on the back, torn up in the corner, yellow pages. It's not even worth $1. This one, on the other hand, is worth about 20. The exact same issue. What's the difference? The condition. First, I want to talk about the bags. It looks like an ordinary plastic bag, but this is actually a very special bag. This is polypropylene, and it's coated with a special acid-free chemical that keeps the bag from breaking down. Now, that's not really great for the environment. We don't necessarily want a lot of plastic bags that never break down. However, for comic books, it's excellent because when a bag breaks down, it's deteriorating the comic book. For example, this bag is not acid-free. And if you can tell, when I hold this behind, it's very yellowed. And you can just imagine, as this bag is breaking down, what it's doing to the comic book that's inside of it. The comic book gets premature aging, and we certainly don't want that, do we? This bag will cause your comic book to start deteriorating, breaking down, and it will decrease in value even though you're taking the extra care to put it in a bag. So you don't want to use these. You want to use an acid-free bag like this. There are also some very high-end bags called Mylar bags, and that's what all of the Library of Congress documents are stored in. Those bags never break down. They'll last for centuries. These will last for decades and probably at least a century. And it's very easy to use. You take your comic book and you just slip it in the bag. They're perfectly fitted for the comic books. In fact, they come in different size for different size comic books. However, when your comic book is in the bag, although it's protected, it won't necessarily stay straight. So it would be very easy to step on, bend it, fold it, crease it, and if that happens, again, you're losing value. You don't want that to happen. So what you want to do is you want to use a board. And you put the board in behind the comic and it holds it straight. And here's a bag and board combination. It's the easiest way to do it. You just slip the comic book in, and as you can see, no bending, no folding. It all stays nice and holds your value. Now these boards are also treated with that acid-free chemical, and they also help your comic book to stay very nicely without deteriorating. The board will hold it still, and it will also keep it and preserve it from decaying. Once you have your comics bagged and boarded, you want to put them somewhere that's cool, dark, and dry. So we have comic book boxes. There are several kinds of comic book boxes. For larger collections, we have the long box. For smaller collections, we have the short box. And this one also happens to be custom designed. We're the only store that I know of that makes custom designed short comic book boxes. And you put your comic inside the box. There are also some nifty dividers that you can use to separate your comics by category or price or whatever you want to divide them by to just keep them nice. You cover it up, put it in a corner or a closet, and your comic book stays invested for a long time. Let me tell you a little bit about these boxes. These boxes are corrugated cardboard. They're not really anything fancy. They will not cause your comic book to deteriorate. They're similar to typical archive boxes used for accounting documents. They're easy to put together. They come in pieces like this, and you just put them together like this, which I'm not going to do in the interest of time right now, but you take these apart, fold them under the way you're supposed to, and voila, you have a box. They're very easy. There are also plastic corrugated boxes for higher end comics that are virtually indestructible and they'll last again for a long, long time. They cost a little bit more. These are usually sufficient for what we need to do. So there you go. A bag, a board, a box, and your comic books and your investments will be protected for a long time to come. Thank you.